旅はいつか終わりを迎える。慌てる必要はない。
Hello, people watching stream. Wait for everybody to kind of warm up here. I am Rob. I do Genshin Impact streams, as you probably can tell. There is a new event, and we're going to play around with this dungeon designing event that we know. Good.
流通のために作られた船は港に止まる。だからリーウェはあらゆる富が沈着する場所だ。
Testing audio. Do I have audio? It's audio. I have audio. It's a little quiet. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Turn up the game. All right, so here we are. Streaming. So there's a new event. It's called Divine Ingenuity. There's a pre-built domain, but more than that, you have the ability to make your own. Just a minute. I'm going to grab my earphones because here we go. Earphones are good. Earphones are good. All right, back to earphones. All right, so here we go. So the deal with this is there's a new event in Genshin Impact. You get basically a different domain. There's time travel, stuff like that. But what I'm interested in, what I'm hoping my viewers are interested in, is you can make your own domain. So you can do, just like Mario Maker, you can do other people's domains. I have designed some domains, and I want to show you what can be done in this and kind of some of the challenges. So I've got two. I've got a domain where it's kind of a more traditional, it's a challenge obstacle course. I'll show you this one. And then I have one that kind of showcases some of the more interesting game mechanics in Genshin Impact that maybe not everyone knows about, which you have to exploit in order to properly complete it. So we'll start with this one. So we'll go here. So I'm going to go ahead. So I'm going to go into edit. I'm going to go ahead and start this up. So I'll just let you guys see it blind. So I'm not going to go to the editor mode. So you start here. There'll be a time limit. You can kind of assess. So looking around. There's some. The goal is what you see in the background right there. That's where you're trying to go. But this one has a coin requirement as well. So you'll have to collect coins. Nice big wall to get in the way. And it looks like this course, oh, there's some coins. So you got to start with the coins. Looks like the course really is going to start over there. So I'm going to go start. When it starts. So I have turned skills off on this domain. So Jean-Lee can't drop pillars. Kazagaya can't jump. This is all just basic movement controls. That coin, as I said. So there's a lot of different things that they've given us here to play with. Some are new, some are old. Those bubbles are the same bubbles that hydro gauges throw at you, and they trap you. They're super annoying. You also have limited life, though. I set this one to be life 10 because it's fine. There's dangerous spikes. These rings here are elemental rings. They're random, and they'll afflict you with that element, and you can accidentally get reactions if you're not careful. So that's that one. It's hydro. So if I go ahead and get that, now I've got electro on me, and then, oh, now I've got electric charge. Oh, I should get something in handy. Oh, I got overloaded. It's beat me up. All right, so here we are. Lots of wind currents. So then we also have these ground wind currents, which kind of move you around. Which, I don't know, there's probably some clever puzzles you can do with this, but I'm just like, oh, okay, we'll go from here. So I'm back to the end here. Now, I don't know if you know this about wind currents, but you can start a wind current just off the ground and then jump into it. Oop, missed the coins. Trying again. And so the way this is designed is if you try to race your way through, you're going to miss the coins. But if you jump and then boom, 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 got most of them, you're supposed to hit the thing. So I'll do that one more time. We got a little bit of time. We made it 5 minutes, so this should fine. Ooh, pushing me around. Let's go back. Alright, so there's those little wind dash pads. If you come at it from the bottom, it's gonna let you get the coins. But if you come at it from the top, you're gonna have to backtrack for it. I think we we've got enough coins now. And then, of course, in Inazuma, we got these little electro racers, so I have to do that. And then they also added those little jump things. So you go up, you get the jumper. Can't fly. I'm a terrible flyer. Fortunately, I got time. Wait for it to rain. Boom. Bang. Skate over here. And then jump. Ah! It expired. So I guess I have to go down. So I go ahead and go down here. There's another coin to get. That's good. Oh, the deadly spikes. Oh no! I'm surrounded by deadly spikes. I'm over here. They also got these jump pads that give you that jumping ability I used earlier, but only once. So the way you got to do this one is you got to time it so that you jump and then glide, and with that, you've completed the challenge. So that's the first one I made. I'll put the IDs up so anybody who wants to try it out for themselves can. So all these are just like Mario Maker, they're given a unique ID. And you'll see in my custom domains, the unique ID for that one is 91964035590. I think I can put that in chat as well. 919. I'll put this maybe in the comments on YouTube too, when I post this guy to YouTube. Let's just see if I can put this in my own chat. 590. So, dyslexia, don't fail me now. 1919665. Oop, I'm dyslexia. I am actually dyslexic. Writing out numbers and transcribing them sucks because they all just kind of get jumbled up. But there we go. Boom. Maybe that's in the chat. Hey, I put it in the chat. So, numbers in the chat. So that's that one. That's kind of generic. But I also wanted to make one that kind of showcased. Now, granted, these are mechanics that you do use in-game. So I will be going to this domain with both a party of 5 stars, which are limited edition 5 stars. So not everyone's going to have them, but also Geo Traveler. So Geo Traveler has some pretty cool things that she can do as well. And so everybody should be able to do this domain, but I'll let you see it, and I'll do it with the big guys first, and then I will show you how you can approach this with Geo Traveler as well. And so I've actually beat this with both of these teams. So what we've got here is we've got a wall, and I don't know where the goal is, but I don't see it over there. So you're going to want to probably follow the coins. There's another coin one. Now this one requires you get all coins, so it's going to be a little more of a challenge. And it's a 10-minute race. So we're going to have to get this coin first because there's no way back up here. So I'm going to get this coin. And then we're going to enter the little room of death here. So we've got some coins on the floor, great. And we have spikes. Let's see. I'm going to zigzag through here. Don't hit the spikes. But there's nothing. Well, there's coins over there, but it's really high up. Trying to whittle water around. Like, how are we going to get to that? Over here, and then we can climb. Oh, all walls and domains are unclimbable, so that's difficult. So I'm going to zigzag through these spikes. So I will show you the 5-star leap. So you can see there is a way I can go way up there. So I've got a couple of 5 stars that have mobility here. So you got Venti. His hold skill gives you a little bit of height. You're going to get a coin, but that's not going to do it. And we've got Zhongli. Climb this pillar. That doesn't seem to give me much more than Venti. And then you've got Kazuha. And Kazuha, he could take a jump off of that pillar. Oh, it's just barely not far enough. So what we got to do is we actually got to combine the 3. So we start with the Zhongli pillar. Make a fresh one here. And then Venti starts his air current a little higher up because he's on Zhongli's pillar. Oh, looks like I'm going to do some climbing. jump into the venti, and then you get that little bit more. So that's how 5 stars traverse difficult terrain. And then also Zhongli has this weird bug. You can't control his pillars, but they kind of end up in weird places depending on how you do things. We'll let Venti get up. So now we are on the way to those coins, and we look behind us, and now there's the goal. But of course, it's not reachable. We can't use it until we get all the coins. So starting over here, we could try to dash jump. There's a lot of spiky things down there, so probably should play it safe and use our mobile. Kazaha do one. We'll let Lee do another. You could probably work on speedrunning this darn thing if you really wanted to. I'd love to see people get better times and maybe different ways to get them kind of balancing out the skills and stuff. Oh, missed that coin. I'll get it on the way back. I didn't get it on the way back. I'm going to work on it. See how good I am at this game? I can tell. Just barely. Just barely. Oh yeah, so you can dash jump back. And then finish it up. And up. So we don't have all the coins. We'll figure out where the rest of those coins are. Down on, hiding. Yeah, making the coins hard to get. Kazaha's, of all the mobility characters, I personally believe that Kazaha's the best. Because of that move that I just showed there, where you're falling off a ledge, you can just go ahead and just jump up. And it's super cool. Kazo's we up. So now you're gonna tell yourself, oh, you jerk. You made something that you have to pay money. Limited 3, limited 5 stars to beat? You jerk, right? That's what you're probably thinking. That's what probably you should be thinking. So I'm gonna tell you, you don't actually need 25 stars to accomplish this domain. I'll show you how. So this is Geo Traveler. Everybody say hello to Geo Traveler. I'm sure you've played her at least once, maybe, playing this game. Geo Traveler has a unique set of skills. So first of all, if you get all of the constellations from doing the quest, she unlocks this one. Oh, that's the Wake of Earth. Where is it? So here her Starfield swords now last a lot longer, which is her E-skill, which is pretty important for this trick. So now her E-skills last a significant amount of time. So now with these new E-skills, we can do some fun stuff. Because her E-skill sticks to walls. And just like Cryona's killers in Breath of the Wild, you can kind of cheat the world a little bit. Should probably put Zhongli's pillar between those. And you can do fun stuff. Ooh, gotta get the right distance. Yeah, the time limit comes into play when you play as Traveler, I'll tell you. Okay, that's still too high. That's just release. So if you put on the Geo construct, you break the last one, so let's do that. That's a good distance. Oh, I can make my jump. You can also do this to go, like, do low-level boundary breaking in domains. Now, I'm not going to take credit for that because there are videos out there with people doing pretty exciting boundary breaking stuff in Genshin Impact. I am not one of those people, but I do want to say that there are things you can do with Geo Traveler, which is super fun, because she can basically go anywhere that you've got a wall to work off of. only get 3. So it's just like Crayonus. Almost as if it was somewhat inspired by Breath of the Wild, but I'm sure lots of people have thought that about Genshin Impact in the last year, so that's fine. Here, but Link can't climb on arbitrary walls, so Geo Traveler's got it on him. One more for good measure. Hate to fall at this point. We got this far. For this one, let's make 2. So we have a nice little stairway for ourselves. After I'm done with this, I'm gonna talk for a minute. I'll show you how these are done and how these are made, in case you want to make your own, or if I've somehow inspired you with my little physical made to make one that's more difficult or more interesting, takes advantage of other game mechanics that maybe I'm not aware of, and you can share the world with, and put it on YouTube or something, or put it on your own stream, since everybody can stream nowadays. Done. Coins, like last time. That's okay. Grab on. Stairway again. Cool. So that's how it's done. And so we'll also show how these are done, and I'll show you some tricks that I've learned in their little editor that maybe can help you to not spend too much time. Now I'm on controller because I'm out of my mind. So this is how it starts off. So you get a little different houses. The row house is the one that you're going to see when you play the pre-made domains. Whatever. Okay, fine. I haven't even put my brain around what I would do with all these hallways and stuff. Sounds like it would be fun. So I just been using square arenas because it's just a teapot at this point. You can do whatever you want. So a couple of things that they give you right off the way is you don't choose your starting point in this one. You always start up here. I don't think you can move it. Try. Oh, I guess you can move it. No, they're like, orange, can't move. So, okay, starting point set. A lot of this terrain here, this domain, that's unclimbable stuff. You can see I built a wall around that section of it. The other one, I went ahead and took care of this section. Theoretically, if you wanted to be really fun, you could make something that like does the whole way around. But there's a problem with that, and that is load. So if you are a Genshin Impact player, you're probably familiar with load in the teapots, and that is how they measure basically how many assets have to be loaded on a player's when you're co-oping. And my computer can handle lots of assets, but somebody who's on a phone cannot. So they have this kind of measurement of load, which is really interesting. But every item you place increases the load, and as you can see, this one only goes up to 700. Just you can't go any higher, because if you go higher, you probably crash somebody's phone somewhere. So placing objects. Now I'm on controller. So you can move. Analog stick moves it. Camera's the right stick. Unfortunately, it's got this mode that switches it to up and down mode. Some things can be floating in the air like this. See, it's blue, so it can be in the air. You could be a real jerk and say like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing. I'm gonna just stick it in the air. Move my camera a little bit. Camera moves with the D-pad, which is awful, but whatever. So you put it really high up in the air, and it's just like that's where I'm gonna put it. So now whoever plays, they've got to figure out a way to get to it. Coins are coins. Coins seem to have a pretty high load. So although coins are kind of how you're going to make the thing work, they're also super annoying in that sense. So there's place mode, and then you can switch to move mode. When you're in move mode, you can select an object, and you can dupe it. It dupes in the direction that is right-handed to wherever the camera happens to be. So you can kind of move the camera around to do something like that. So I got a cluster of coins. Move around, it turns orange when you can't place, of course. And then we've got some other thingamajigs. We got terrain, which makes sense. The non-climbable walls are my favorite thing now because you can use it to block off areas. But you can put boxes, places. They don't seem to care about gravity, so you can just kind of scatter them however you want. Let's say I want to make a ramp, but I don't want it to be two like my other one. I come in here and I can dupe it. And so I get that. There isn't like a multi-select dupe, which like you'd expect in some kind of dungeon editor, but at least you can do it one at a time. Keep in mind that all these surfaces are non-climbable, but they do have grids on them, which is super nice, which is something the teapot didn't have. So that's something. Good job, Genshin Impact. MiHoYo or HoYoverse. So these are pretty much, whatever. Big old platform, just stick it right in the middle of nowhere. There are movement they call them mechanisms, but they're really movement stuff. So a lot of them you saw in my other one, you got wind rings, which I don't know how to make them face up. You rotate, I don't know if I can something. It seems to only want to rotate horizontally, whereas in game challenges you can make them go in all sorts of different directions. And these are like, nope, you can make it go clock directions, which is, it's disappointing. Now wind currents. Wind currents, it's important to realize that, like I showed you earlier, the height matters. You can kind of make a wind current that isn't on the ground. It's like one up, but then you can jump into it from the ground and then give yourself a boost. So that's always fun. We've got platforms that break, platforms that disappear, move around. We've got these high-speed air currents, which are the things that were pushing me in a circle earlier. We've got the springboard. The Thunder Sakura tree, those are the ones from Inazuma. You pick up the little buff that it gives you, and then it lets you do the jumps using electricity. So that's a thing you can do. Lots of traps. I haven't played with all of these traps, honestly. There's so you got like all these elemental sources. So you got like, this is going to be afflict with fire, afflict with hydro, electro. You could do all sorts of fun. Probably my next one I'm going to do, I've got to think about it for a while. I'll probably do a reaction-based one where, the terrain itself makes sense. It's just like an easy straight path, but like you'll be electro and then you'll be a pyro. You get afflicted by electro, and then you get afflicted by pyro, kaboom, you get overloaded, you'll take damage, you'll get knocked off, you have to start over. Maybe even knocked into some spikes, it'd be really mean. So you can kind of use, I don't know what other, I guess superconduct, but realistically, the reaction that I see being the most important in this is avoiding overloads. So, for instance, you could have a situation where you put down a pyro, and then you can go straight ahead and get an electro, kaboom, and you get overloaded. But you could go a little bit to the right or to the left, and you can get a hydro. You could nullify, vaporize away the pyro, so that you could then safely you get electro charge, but maybe not, and then you go into the electro. So there's some puzzles that you could do, kind of playing with the core elemental reactions. I haven't thought about that. I'll probably make a stream tomorrow if I think of clever ways to use electric the different reactions. Mostly it's just overload, overload, overload in my mind. Maybe there's some other things you can do. You got spiky things, and then you've got these little blasters, and they have different directions, right? So you've got one that goes square, which is you'll see in the first one they do, and you see it. It kind of does like random elements, which is, I mean, it's okay. You can't really design things. I haven't tried the flame one, but sounds like it's pretty fun. You got the bubbles, which are the most annoying things in the world. They move around, they hit you, and they hold you in place. Great for anti-speed runs. You got super high-speed bubbles, which were featured in other ones. And then you got, you could have a stamina-based puzzle where you've got lots of either gliding or sprinting, and then you can put these guys here to kind of give you back people's stamina. You can do this. You could also have one where you have a lot of like moving bubbles, and then you have to race through, and you can only really make it if you have the striding boon, and then the leaping boon. I think you saw that. It gives you a leap. I mean, they give you that in the standard one. And then yeah, that's it. And then when you're done playing, you can go ahead and do trial. It allows you to save. You can do just an exploration trial, which is this area trial, and you just kind of wander around, see how things work, and, play around with the mechanisms, and see if everything feels the way you want it to feel walking around in the game. Or alternately, you can do the actual time trial, at which point, if you can't beat it, you can't publish it, just like Mario. So, oh look, oh man, this was so hard. I'm not going to publish it, but you can. It gives you the option to publish it. So I encourage everyone to try this thing out, play around. It's not as, you get used to the controls, and I imagine if you're on iPad or phone or whatever, a lot of the difficulty I'm having with moving and placing stuff is going to be reduced because it's just more suited for that. I just like using controller, and mouse and keyboard is also an option. So that is it. When we post the ID for the 5-star leaping challenge domain real quick before I forget, and then from there I'll probably just stop stream. It's not a lot to talk about other than, so I think it's this one. So look at that big long ID. I'm going to try to type that without messing it up. So let's see here. Oof, old eyes. 1, 3, 4. You see, don't listen to my voice. I'm going to mix up the digits. 1, 3, 4, 9, 1, 3, 7, 0, 8, 8, 6. Cool. Put that in chat. I'll put this, if I remember, I'll put this in the comments on the YouTube video too, in case people don't want to do that. Typing it in, because typing in digits is just so very fun. It's a 10-minute limit on this one, but I think you could probably do it in 3 or 4. I think I did it once with 3. I was just less talking, just really focusing. But I bet somebody's out there that can just blast through this thing in like 30 seconds. So I'd love to see that or hear about that. Maybe when this, if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a comment with your best time. Feel free to lie, doesn't matter. Like, who cares? But if you do actually do well and you're proud of yourself, and you don't want to lie about it, please say how good you did. There's a limited time event, unfortunately, so like, let's get the most out of this as a community. We got 19 days to play with these. Hopefully we'll get some really good ones. I'll share these on Twitter as well, and maybe if you come up with a really clever one, I'd love to try your domains. Share it, just put it on Twitter or hashtag, what is the name of it, the event? It's the Divine Ingenuity. There's a hashtag out there, Divine Ingenuity, that people are using to post their designs. I've already seen some that are pretty crazy and amazing, and usually it's like, hey, this is really cool. I hope you have Kazaha, because Kazaha is amazing for this kind of stuff. But as I showed, you can do just about anything if you've got the patience with Geo Traveler and a wall. That's all you need, those two things. But it's also kind of fun to see what you can do with all the cool characters that you've accumulated over playing the game. So, all right. Well, with that, I think I'm going to end stream or end the video. Hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope the mic was working the whole time so you could hear all my yammering away. And I will see you the next time I stream.